Hello friends, just wanted to do a video review of the GVM 1500D. I have been upgrading my video studio for a while now. I recently bought the GVM 1000D 2 light kit. Loved it. The one thing I said towards the end, I think, of that review was the only thing that would be better is if that I had 3 of them. Well, fast forward a few weeks, I came to find the GVM 1500D on Amazon. We're going to go to the product page here in a minute. Found the 1500D, and I said to myself, okay, this is basically the 1000D, but a 75 watt output and a few more beads. The 1500D has 1128, the 1000D has 736 LEDs, and the 1000D also has a not as much of an output. It's a 45 watt. Other than that, the 1500D, the 1000D are exactly the same with regards to the software, the app, and we'll talk about some of those in a minute, the scenes, all of the things that you can do with regards to saving scenes. All of those things are the same with the 1500D and the 1000D. So I now, instead of having 3, have 4, because I bought the 2 light kit of the 1500D as well. And so what I want to do is let's go to the product page and we'll talk through some of this. So again, this is the GVM 1500D. And by the way, before I get into that, what you saw before I went to the product page, what you're seeing now in picture is the result of actually the 1500D lights. They're in the center. I've got them both side by side. On the far right and the far left, I actually have the GVM 1000Ds also going, and I've got basically them, one of them running in app mode, and then the other 3 running in slave. I really love the fact that I can basically, run one light, one setup, and have all the others run in slave mode to give me this consistent look that I have in the background that you're seeing. I'll show you in a minute how I can change those colors, change intensities, that type of thing. But yeah, I love it. So as I mentioned, you've got a 2-panel or a 2-pack LED panel. These are both RGB HSI settings as well as the CCI. And with CCI, you've got 3200 to 5600 Kelvin. Some of the other things to mention, and we'll just go over here to bring that up, 2700 lux at 0.5 meters. You can definitely tell the difference. Again, your modes, and we'll go through some of those. You've got 8 special lighting scenes. You've got lightning, cop car, candle, party, disco, TV, bad bulb, and paparazzi. We'll go through those here in just a minute. You actually get a power adapter, your standard power adapter, or you can run these off of the standard Sony NP F-type battery. You'll want to go with the 970 to make sure you can fully run those in slave mode, get the full output, have it run for the longest period of time. I would have loved to have seen the ability to power these through USB-C, but that's not there, and I know that adds even more to the cost. So it is what it is. Again, CCT, I said CCI, but CCT mode, 3200 to 5600 Kelvin. Obviously, you can control not only the temperature, but the level of brightness from 0 to 100%. The app makes that really, really easy. You can also see the HSI mode here, where you can go from 0 degrees to 360. We'll show that interface here in a minute as well with the app. As I mentioned, you've got the master and slave. So I've got one light set to app, and it's the master, and then I've got all 3 of the other lights set to slave, and so when I make the change in the app, they all change to that same color. As you can see, I won't go all over these, but the GVM 1500D is wider, so you get larger surface area, obviously more light, brighter intensity, more power. Otherwise, it's exactly the same. The one other thing that you don't get with the GVM 1500 2-light kit that you do get with the 1000 is the softbox. The 1000D 2-light kit comes with a softbox kit, which is nice. You don't actually see it here, but both the 1500D and the 1000D come with barn doors. I'll show you those in a minute just in the background, but I typically don't use the barn doors, but I've left them on so that you can see that they're there. Let's talk about a few other things. So the app is Bluetooth control, which is great. And instead of it being, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth makes it work a lot better. You don't have to worry about having your Wi-Fi working properly or whatever. So that's really cool. Built-in scenes, as we've talked about, AC/DC power options. I will show you real quick. Let me go back to full screen here for just a moment. This is at least one example of an NPF 970 battery, power extra. These are also on Amazon and my favorite go-to options there. So let's go back here to the product page for a minute. As I'd mentioned, 75 watt RGB video light. Now the thing I wanted to do, rather than spending a ton of time beyond what we've already shown, getting super up close to the actual device, I wanted to show you how this would look and how I would use it in a true live stream. I live stream on YouTube and on Amazon. I think I mentioned that at the beginning of the video. And so my preference, since there are so many reviews out there that go into all the details of the nitty-gritty details of the specs, which are important nonetheless, I would like to kind of do this in a little bit different way. The one thing I want to mention that I think I've mostly already talked about, but I wanted to talk through a few other things. It does come with a carrying case. These lights have the diffuser panel that is also with the 1000D. They don't actually show it here, but you can see right over here is the white panel. There are the barn doors. There's the power supply. You get the light stand for both lights as well, which is handy, and your carrying case here. So I wanted to talk that through. 1500D is brand new. It hasn't been out long, so that's cool. Just so you know, when I blow back out, so you can see my setup. I normally do a lot of my live streams at night so that I can have a room that I can fully control with light. I've got a lot of natural light coming in that I don't have any way of blocking out at this point in time. So do most of my videos at night so I can control my background. You can already see the color that I've got it set up right now, and I'll be changing that. But what I've got on the far right and the far left are the two 1000Ds, and in the center I've got both of the 1500Ds set up. So let me turn off picture-in-picture for a moment. So as you can see right now, and if I move over here, that's my setup. And I could control, obviously, those lights independently if I wanted. Now, what I'm going to do now is pull up the app interface. I'm going to go through that, and I'll show you how that works. Give me just a minute here. All right, there we go. So we've got I've got this picture-in-picture where I can show you the actual app, so you can see that I need to actually connect. So I'm going to connect to this BT underscore LED. If I had multiple lights set up in app mode, then multiple connections would show up there. But I'm going to go ahead and go to connect. And then now you can see the interface. I'm going to work through some of these. Currently it's in the CCT mode. Let's first go, because there's no particular order, I'm going to show you some of the, and I'm going to be looking down every once in a while so I can actually see. Hold on just a minute, actually. Yeah. So I'm going to go to My Scenes, and I've got 3 that are already saved. Actually, what I want to do is save another one, because I actually like the color, the way it's set up right here. And so I can name that. I'm just going to call it red for now. Save it, and now you can see I've got a 4th one there. If I go to the top one, you'll see that that's kind of a orange, and that's fairly bright. Now I can, on the fly, change either the saturation, so I can kind of tone that down, which is not very, doesn't look very good, but I can now change the intensity if I want, bring that down a little bit, like that a little bit better. You'll also notice that, you should notice here, let me do one other thing. Trying to actually see if my mouse can work on the... Okay, we won't work with that. So what I was going to mention is there's a channel option over there right to the left of the color wheel, and that's where you can set the channel that you want to have your lights on. So you notice it's HSI mode. I can move around this wheel, and it's fairly responsive, and change the colors, the full 360 degrees. There's a nice green. I could leave it there. Of course, I could click on the top little button up there that I guess kind of is like a filing cabinet. I'm assuming that's what that is. I'm going to call this green. And now I also have a green. So I can go to the second one that I had pre-saved already. And there's that. I can go to My Scenes again. Go to the third one that I had. Now I can go to the bottom one there. Go back to the green that I had saved. I actually kind of like that green look. But I'm going to go back to the red. It's probably my preference right now. Now let's go to the option for scene, and we'll start with lightning. So that's what lightning looks like, and you can control the brightness, as you can see. Now we will go over to cop car there. So that's cop car. That's all 4 of those lights operating simultaneously. We've got candle here. Give it time. That's kind of subtle. Don't see myself using that as much. Here's what's called TV. Then bad bulb. Party is another one. I could see myself maybe using that at times. Disco, might use that one as well at times. And then there's paparazzi. That's actually kind of similar to one of the other ones. So we've already showed you HSI. Now let's go to CCT. And of course I can go, as you can see at the top, I've got the brightness from 0 to 100%. It's at 35 right now. I can move it all the way up to 100, and it's at 5600 Kelvin as well. So that's pretty doggone bright. I'm in a completely dark room, and my background is completely white. Now, of course, I can go, that's 4300. Can go all the way down to 3200, and that's very yellowish. And now I'm changing the intensity. Now let's go back also to white again. You can save scenes for that as well. I could go here And for example, click on my little filing cabinet up there, and let's call this white 100 for 100%. Save that off. Now, just to show you that it works, I'll go to the first scene that I've saved, and then now let's go to my scenes, and let's go to white 100, and as you can see, it's pretty fast to respond. So we've got the CCT capability 3200 to 5600 Kelvin. We've got the HSI mode. Either one of those, we can save those. I could actually go to scene and go to lightning. It's possible. I'm wondering. Okay, so that's another interesting thing. If you just saw that, you can save up to 6 scenes. That's what that says. So I was going to see if you could save one of these lightning, candle, whatever scenes, but there's probably no real reason to do that since you can go straight to this. So those are the basics of the app as well. Let's go now to back to, let's turn our picture-in-picture off. Now we're gonna pull up the scene that I like the most. Let's go to this one and just try to close this out. So the GVM 1500D again is a nice step up from the 1000D. I like the fact that I have now 2 of each, both the 1000D and the 1500D. It gives me some flexibility. The 2 1000Ds worked great, honestly. The 2 1500Ds by themselves work great. You could mix and match. You could have a 1000D with a 1500D in one particular situation. I will probably use one of these lights as a key light. I'm using right now a light that's not near as bright, not near as capable as this 1500D. So I'll probably take one of these 1500Ds and use that as a key light, or I actually may use the 1000D as a key light since it has a softbox. So just want to show you one more time the product page. So that you can find your way. This is the 1500D, and just again for reference, the 1000D, again, you can see that it comes with softbox. It's really the only difference between the two. Otherwise, you get the light stands, power cords, all the things. Again, I love the fact that you can run this off of NPF batteries. I would get the 970, as I mentioned. And I think those are the main highlights. I would most definitely recommend the 1500D. I'm pretty much set. I have another GVM cob light that I just don't have a softbox for yet. So GVM products are great. You can't go wrong. I've been watching, as I mentioned in my 1000D review, been watching a number of content creators using the GVM lights as a part of their everyday setup, and now I'm happy to be in the same boat, to be able to have the equipment that I need. So I think that's where we're going to leave it, and appreciate everyone. Go out and get you a GVM 1500D.